The goal for next season is obviously a minimum top 4 finish and probably some silverware as well. Enzo Maresca coming in, some new transfers, some players coming in and out. I think that's basically the standard for next season. At least top 4 and some silverware. And then, of course, go as far as possible in the Conference League. In my opinion, the minimum required there is reach the final and probably win it. But the most important part is going to be a top 4 finish, because you do not want to spend another season not in the Champions League. This would mean that you would probably need 70 points next season to reach top 4, because on average in the last couple of seasons, as you will see, reaching 70 points was enough to secure a top 4 finish. So let's discuss all the possible scenarios. Let's look at what has happened in the last couple of seasons. So let's start with that. First up, this season. This season, if you wanted to finish top 4, Aston Villa did it, 68 points, so below the average. By the way, Chelsea finished only 5 points behind a top 4 finish. Despite all the disastrous things that happened throughout the season, only 5 points off top 4. The season before that, you can't even see Chelsea here on the screen, that's horrible. But the season before that, you needed 71 points to reach the Champions League, which Newcastle achieved. A season before that, we finished top 3, 74 points. Here, 71 points got you Champions League football. And a season before that, even lower, Chelsea top 4 with only 67 points. And as you can see here, third spot, 69 points. Nice. You didn't even need 70 points. So I hope it becomes extremely clear right now. 70 points for next season is the main goal. If you want to secure top 4, you need at least 70 points to be secured, relaxed and chilled and be in the Champions League the season after that. Also, don't forget, next season in July, I believe it's in July, we have the new format for the Club World Cup, which Chelsea will be competing in. And so now sit back and relax, or maybe pay attention, because as you can see, lots of numbers here. So plenty of scenarios. Scenario number 1, you have the balanced win, draw, loss scenario. So what happens here? 23 wins, which means you get 69 points, which as you've seen, in some seasons, that's enough. Then 7 draws, which brings you to 7 points. 8 losses, you are permitted to lose 8 games, so you get 0 points. And so in total, you get here 76 points, which, as we've seen, is enough for a top 4, even a top 3 finish. Moving on to the next scenario. Strong start, weaker finish. So here we only have 20 wins, 5 draws, but 13 losses. This brings us to 65 points, which, in my opinion, is going to cut it really, really close. As for the next scenario, weaker start, strong finish. Here the same thing, same amount of wins, 4 draws, but 14 losses. Here as well, not good enough, 64 points. Could have been good enough in other seasons, but I don't think that next season this is going to be enough. Having lost 14 games, in my opinion, is just way too much. Then, high wins, few draws. So this is of course a very, very good scenario. 24 wins, only 2 draws, but 12 losses. But since here you have 24 wins, 12 losses, you compensate for all of those wins, still have 74 points. As for the last 2 scenarios, consistent wins and draws. So you have 18 wins, 14 draws, but only 6 losses. And so you end the season with 68 points, which again will be cutting it close. And the average scenario is 24 wins, 7 draws, and 7 losses, brings you bang on 70 points. So this is basically what Chelsea have to achieve next season. 24 wins, 7 draws, 7 losses, max. Or of course they can overachieve, right? 23 wins or 24 wins. But anything less than 20 wins is going to hurt the chances for us to get top 4 finish. Now going back, this season we won 18 games but lost 11. That's just too much. Season beforehand, you can't even see us here because we finished 12th, horrible. But then, when we finished 3rd, you can clearly see here why we finished so high. 21 wins, which is not the best case scenario as we've seen before, but we only lost 6 games, all the rest were draws, so that gave us 74 points. When we finished 4th, you can clearly see here we did not perform well at all. 19 wins, 10 draws and 9 losses, 67 points. In a strong season, this would not be enough to finish in the top 4. And so going into next season, in my opinion, it's going to be another pretty strong season for the top 4 and even the top 6. You have to start this season strong. I always said there were 20 teams in that league, right? 10 teams, you should be doing the double over them. If you do the double over them, which means win at home and away, you're already setting yourself up for not success, but at least you have a safety net for everything that comes after that. Of course, after that, you still have, let's say, 4 to 3 teams where you could be doing the double as well. And then you're starting to play against that top 6 where at home you would prefer to win all your games at home or at least not lose them. And away is the same thing. Try not to lose. I know the mentality has to be win it all. But at some point you have to think, try not to lose, to take as many points as possible. Because at the end of the day, it's a points system, right? You want as many points as possible. So I truly hope that Enzo comes in and sets the mentality right. That's what I said in yesterday's video. I want us to go into the preseason with the mentality of we are going to win, we're going to destroy every team we face, even if it's a young team, B team, C team, we don't care. We want to get our mentality right. We want to get to winning ways back again. Because the last season or two, you had that feeling that when we're playing the likes of Wolves, Bournemouth, even Brighton sometimes, we were second best. I can't remember Chelsea like this. When I started to watch Chelsea, which was now 20 years ago, you watched Chelsea, you knew against the lesser teams, even the bigger teams, the team came on the pitch, you knew you were going to score, you were going to win. Even, let's say, after 2010, 2012, you had a team of fighters, you had a team that came on the pitch, and you knew Wigan, you knew all these teams, Reading, they were all going to lose because we had the players, the mentality, they were basically, we're going to destroy you. That's about it. Right now, you have if we concede an early goal, I hope we can score one to draw the game. And even if we're winning 2-0, as we've seen plenty of times this season, we're dominating the game, then suddenly we concede a silly goal, and then they score another one, and it's 2-2, or maybe sometimes they even win the game. It cannot happen next season. The mentality switch has to happen as soon as possible. Now, we've talked about the possible lineup scenarios, how we want to play. So I've put this team here on the screen. Yes, hypothetically speaking, I would love us to get Michael Olise and Calafiori so we can play those types of formations, so we can switch it up, inverted fullback. I mean, Calafiori would be an insane get, but I won't get my hopes up. I think Olise is a more realistic one. Then with regards to the strikers, every single day we have new stories, new rumors coming out. So let's wait and see what happens. But I do think that this type of team, this type of system, we can cause a lot of damage. There's also scenario number 2, and this I put here, Enzo Maresca's masterclass. We've talked about that in previous videos as well. This is another scenario here where you can clearly see already the inverted fullbacks at work. Here I preferred to keep Reece James or Malo Gusto, but in this case I think Reece James as one of the center backs here that stays behind, or fullback that turned into a third center back here. It's the opposite of what you're seeing here from Enzo Maresca's masterclass, because I think you can switch it up depending on who you're playing against, depending on what stage of the game we're at. Cucurella, Calafiori, we've seen him, we've talked about him, compared him a bit to Gvardiol as well. If you look at how Gvardiol, center back but turned into a left back, inverted full back for Manchester City, has performed quite well. And then going even further up the pitch, as you can see, I'm doing the same formation here. And Nkunku, Jackson, whether we're getting Šeško or another one, I don't care. But then you've got way more attacking options, which means that you can deploy Enzo in a better role as well. Cole Palmer will probably roam free here. You've got Madueke, Olise on one side, Somerville, Mudryk or Sterling, depending on what we're doing this summer. On the other side, 1v1s are going to be of extreme importance. You do the 1v1, then you can cut back, easy goal for Nkunku or Jackson. You can cross it, you can pass it to maybe Enzo or maybe even Lavia as well, or Palmer, and you score some goals. It's going to be very interesting how we develop our preseason. Then, of course, as discussed yesterday, if you want to watch that video, it's going to be in top right corner. But Aston Villa hold preliminary talks with Chelsea over Conor Gallagher move. Apparently, Spurs are interested as well, and so are Atletico Madrid. I think it's going to be a huge mistake selling him to another Premier League team or selling him period. So that's about it for me in this video. That's the math behind reaching top 4. That's the math behind having at least 70 points or 70 points on average, plus some formations and some talks. Do share your thoughts down in the comment section below. If you enjoy this type of videos, leave it a thumbs up, subscribe if you have not, and I'll see you all in the next one. Bye bye.